But
So
yeah,
it's
all right. All right. So I saw you like argue on Twitter, right? Especially
yeah.
the lollicon. So you argue with a lot of like weirdos about just fucking
Oh
like
yeah.
whether you're a pedophile if you watch it. Now my stance is like you're definitely a pedophile. Like
Oh yeah.
it's a depiction of a child.
hmm
But I why do you think it's morally bad though? Like, why? What is morally bad about the like lollicon?
Do you think it's morally incorrect to watch child porn?
I mean, I don't. I mean, under that whether it's okay, under the context of lolicon, no, I wouldn't say it might be child porn, but if it's not inherently hurting anybody, then it wouldn't be unethical.
Um, but watching lollies is, I think, because pedophiles do watch lolicon, it's an outlet, and it not an outlet, but it feeds the want for children, I believe, because they're almost almost getting that interaction because they are watching animated child porn, so it makes the desire for children stronger, and the possibility that they'll go after a child stronger and stronger and like more likely.
All right. Well, all right. All right. So your position is that all right, fuck. All right. So you think the consumption of lolicon is morally bad, but do you think lolicon itself is morally bad?
Um Depends if it's lollies like just the character design. If it's not sexualized, I don't have a problem with it. But once it becomes
Like
sexualized is when I have a
lolicon,
problem.
yeah. We're talking about lolicon. I
Like the
want.
hentai genre.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
lolicon.
Yes, I think it is morally incorrect because you're drawing children in sexual situations, and
Okay.
your morals have to be really really skewed to just be able to sit there and do that for hours on end.
I mean, yeah, but like, all right, all right. How do I approach this? Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that okay, it's not harming anybody. Why should it matter whether it's a child like getting fucked? Why, if it's not harming anybody, what makes that action morally wrong? Like, how can you judge that action based off the fact that like
It's
it's not hurting anybody?
it's harming the user because it's like
I mean, it
their
might harm
mental
the
state. It's
user.
self harm, which self harm in
Mm,
itself I believe is immoral.
how would it but like how would it be self-harm if it's like within that person's interest to like jerk off to it? It wouldn't be
Um
like what harm would it be causing?
I mean, I also think that porn in general is self harm, but I think that's a different topic. But
Yeah, that's a different topic, but
that's a different can of worms there.
yeah. All right. So you think all right, your position is that lolicon is morally bad because lolicon, what you call it?
Leads to
L-
something much worse.
Something much worse. Okay. Fuck. All right. So basically what oh my god, why is it so hard for you to approach this topic sometimes? All right. Ah, fuck. All right. What I'm trying to say is basically that like, w- okay, so you think the consumption of child porn is morally bad, right?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. What about the consumption of child porn is morally bad? What makes that morally bad? Do you not like need to harm an actual child for that to be in a moral action? How can you judge the like? How would you judge like child porn based off morals if you're not actually doing anything? Like it's like that. How does that follow? I'm confused. Like you're if you
Because
can't
it leads to something much worse.
okay, just because it might lead to something. Like that's like if I
it's
say I
it'll
smoke weed, that's morally bad because it might lead to me like smoking crack, right? Like
No,
you can't
that's a
go
whole
on about the
that's a whole
weed.
different thing. Because weed
Yeah,
being a
but
gateway drug is just false information. But
I mean,
anyways,
yeah, but like anything, like you can say that for like porn in general, right? Like you could say that like
oh yeah,
maybe a
porn. I
certain porn.
that's why I am against porn in general.
So you think all porn can lead to something. So do you think that like
Yes.
all right. Okay. So, do you think that like me eating a cheeseburger will like it eventually like make me fat because I'm
Yes,
eating like maybe a fat food?
if you continuously do it, yes.
Okay. So, what
But
happens if you like
if you eat
jerk off
one
to a lolly
cheeseburger
once?
and it's not a part of your diet, then that's all right. But if you continuously eat cheeseburgers over and over and over, then
And so after if you like jerk
it's
off to a
going
lolly
it's
once.
going to be like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. My diet's fucked anyways. I'm just gonna eat all this unhealthy food, and then my cholesterol's gonna go up. I'm gonna get heart disease and all that. But and the same with lollies. If you start watching lollies a little bit, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna continue to watch lollies. It's like, okay, then they start to get in their mind this attraction to mainly lollies, to a point where only lollies satisfy them, and then the lollies don't satisfy them anymore. And then what happens? Where do they go from there? They start moving on to actual children and attempting to groom, so on and so forth.
All right. But like these aren't arguments against. This is just saying that like a lolly can lead to potential like it being bad. Simply, all right. So you think the consumption of lolly is bad, but do you think that like just making the art in general is bad?
Yes, because by making the art, you are directly encouraging it.
You're directly
You're
encouraging.
you're
Okay.
encouraging it, not even indirectly, because you're drawing it for the audience, and this is your audience, main audience. Would you disagree that lollicons are the main audience for lolly artists?
I mean, definitely. Like
Yeah,
that's
so you're
no.
drawing it for these people with these views. You're drawing it for these people and enabling them.
All right. Okay, but why? All right. So simply because, all right. So you think that the consumption of lolly can lead to actual child grooming? So doesn't
Yes,
that mean like the
100%.
consumption of like what you call it? If the consumption of like watching a horror movie could lead to like potentially you killing somebody because it gives you an idea maybe? Like
And
the
certain
like the
people, yes, but in general, not really.
okay,
Because
but like what if
people don't
it's
watch horror movies because the main population doesn't watch horror movies because they enjoy watching people getting brutally like mutilated. They watch them because they enjoy getting scared and they enjoy the thrill. That's completely different.
okay, wait. So if somebody watches it for specifically gore, you think that like that
That
you
would
think
be
that
unhealthy. That would
person's
be
commit
really unhealthy, yes.
okay, but do you so they would they be committing a moral wrong though? Simply like
Yeah.
just
It'd be
being
morally wrong
unhealthy.
more because people that watch horror movies I don't think people really do watch horror movies for the gore because if they wanted to see gore, they'd go to gore sites such as well, I best gore doesn't really exist anymore or anything like that. But they would go to gore websites and they'd watch gore there. They wouldn't go to horror movies because they would, you know, they would be like, well, it's not real enough, which is what happens a good amount of the time with lollies. I don't really do it much anymore, but I used to actually catfish pedophiles and like 8 out of 10 times they would talk about lollies at some point.
There's pedophiles and they talk about lollies. That's
Yeah, they would bring up lollies just even if you don't bring up anime, they'll find a way to bring up lollies like 8 out of 10 times.
so you think all right. All right. So I'm trying to really think here, cause I don't know. I thought your position would be that it's a moral wrong because it's like it's the depiction of child porn.
Well,
But you think that
that
it
is
just
also morally
leads,
wrong.
okay,
I
but
think
like
all of
it's
the
not.
above.
All right, all right. Then let's tackle that point first. So what is like it's all right. So what would be morally wrong with that if it's not hurting anybody? Like what? How is the consumption? How is like that child porn itself bad? Like how? Like do you understand what makes child porn bad?
Well, I know what you're trying to argue the point that child porn is bad because it's directly child abuse and it hurts the children in
Yeah.
in there, but you're just trying to say that drawings don't because they're drawings, but it hurts it hurts the person self because it deteriorates their brain.
No, I'm
It
talking about like in
it's
general. Like
self-harm.
I'm not. No, but like that's not okay. But those are two completely different things, right? You're saying the consumption of lolly porn would be bad. I'm talking about lolly porn in general. I'm not talking about the consumption of it, right? So what would be
Well,
morally bad with simply just like what would be morally bad with the lolly itself, with lolicon itself? Like you're saying the consumption of it would be morally bad because it causes self-harm. I'm saying that the lolly porn itself wouldn't be a moral bad because the lolicon itself is like it's not hurting anybody, right?
well,
You
it's
understand?
a depiction of child porn. I think that's why it's wrong. It's because it's depicting lewd children.
Okay, but why is that morally wrong? You have to find like a reason, right? Like do you
Because
like child porn would be bad because it hurts a child. Child porn isn't bad because it's a child. It's because it hurts
no,
somebody,
it's
right?
because it's a child. That's all. I also believe that that's really big. If it weren't a child, then well, I still think it's wrong either way because I'm not a I'm like avid anti-porn now, but
Okay, but like the okay, what does okay, but you have to find a reason why it's bad that they're a child doing it. Like you can't just sit here and say, well, it's a child. What does okay? Like you have to give me a reason
you
why
don't think
it's
lewd
morally
children
bad
do
for a child.
you don't think lewd children are bad? So it's like so you think it's all right if a
I
child
think
was to post themselves
I
lewd
would
because
say
then they wouldn't really be hurting themselves. They just wouldn't be thinking before they post. So
I
would you
mean
think that's okay?
they would be hurting themselves because people could come after them. What do you mean? Lollicon doesn't do that because it's not hurting
People can
any
come after
child.
the artist.
I mean, yeah, but that
But the
what does
the
that have to do?
child of course it's not hurting anything but directly, but indirectly it is.
Oh, like was it indirectly hurting?
Yeah, already that's back to before. Indirectly, it causes the lollicons to move past lollicon and more towards real children. That's indirectly. Directly is what you're asking.
Okay, but that's not an argument against lolicon. That's an argument against the consumption of it, not an argument against the drawing itself.
Well, why should you be allowed to produce something that people can't consume? Like meth. You
I
can't
mean,
the consumption of meth is wrong and you're saying producing that's like saying okay, this is actually a really good analogy. Producing meth it's like saying producing meth is fine. Producing meth isn't hurting anyone. It should be morally straight to produce meth, right? Because as long as
yeah,
you don't sell it to anyone,
yeah.
but
Like what?
it's not because the production of meth itself is immoral.
But
Because you're
why? You have to find reasons to this.
because
The
nobody
sin.
there's no point in producing meth if nobody's going to buy it
Okay.
or you're not going to use
Why?
it
Why
yourself.
does that? So can you not? So would you say the production of? Okay. So you would say that the production of something and then not using it is morally bad. I'm confused. What does that have to do with anything? Like what?
Because you're drawing lewd children, whether you're producing it or because you're drawing lewd children for pedophiles. I think that's morally wrong.
No. What? Okay. So this is the argument against the production of it, not it's not the lolicon itself. You're
Well,
just
yeah, that's
giving
what you're
me like
doing. You're
different
the production of it. I think the production is wrong because it's for pedophiles.
for. Okay.
That's why
All
I think
right.
it's wrong.
Okay. Why? Okay. That's like the equivalent of me saying that like black band should be like banned because like a like pedophile could like these aren't. Well, I'm so confused. They're making it for pedophiles. Why is this stuff morally bad? You have to give me actual reasons to it. What is morally bad about like giving stuff to pedophiles? What? I'm confused.
Giving lewd drawings of children to pedophiles is bad. I
I
think
mean,
that's just common morals. This is common morals. That's not. It's not
yeah.
even
Why is that
like
bad?
that's not even
You have to
complex
give me a
morals. It's
reason
not
on
even
to
something.
why. Yeah, like you have to give me a reason. You can't sit here and be like, well, it's just bad because it's morals. You have to
Because
give
it's
me a
lewd
reason.
children and pedophilia
Okay.
itself is immoral. There's
Okay.
not much to
All
talk
right.
about there.
All right. How is pedophilia? All right. How is pedophilia immoral? Tell me. I'm curious.
Um, it pedophilia is immoral.
Yeah. How's it immoral? You,
It
uh,
hurts children.
no, no. Like I'm talking about like thinking about like fucking a child. How's that immoral?
Well, by definition, thinking about fucking a child, I don't think actually falls under pedophilia. But personally, like
No, it does.
to a
Yeah.
stunt,
So pedophilia is defined as like basically like being sexually attracted to like somebody with a prepubescent body. That's what pedophilia is.
yeah. Well, that's bad because n- most of the time they will act on it. They won't seek help. Sometimes I don't think in a sense it's morally wrong if they don't act on it and immediately get help once they realize because that's a mental illness and you can't call having a mental illness immoral.
Yeah, exactly. So pedophilia wouldn't be immoral, right? Because you can't
No,
morally judge a thought, right?
it's immoral. It's immoral if you it's immoral if you don't get help. But if you actively seek help, it's all right.
Okay,
Because
so
that's something you
all
can't
right, no,
control.
but
That's
we're not
mental
talking
illness
about
and you know it's wrong because you know it's morally wrong, so you seek help.
okay,
That's
but
why people seek help.
these no people seek help because one because they might abuse a child, but the thought of it the thought of fucking a child isn't inherently immoral. Simply
How is
just
it
the
not immoral?
acting
How is
upon
it
it
not immoral?
because thoughts can't be morally judged. That's why. That's impossible. Like a thought cannot be morally judged. Right? Like you do you agree with me on that?
Depends.
You
Depends.
what do you mean
Because
depends?
thoughts are a stepping stone. Thoughts are a
I'm
stepping stone to actions. And so
uh,
the stepping stone to the action can't, if it leads to an immoral action, the thought, I believe, is immoral. Because
that
it's all in under one umbrella. The thought and the
but
action.
but why should wait, okay.
Unless
Okay.
okay, if you don't actively seek to cut out the thought or seek help for what the thought is, what you are thinking, then it's it's immoral. But
No, we're
if you
talking about the
actively seek
thought
help, you're
itself.
moral. Yes. The thought
No,
falls under the umbrella, and anything that falls under the umbrella is immoral.
what how? But if a thought can't be morally judged, then how would that work?
Because
Like
it's a
just
stepping
simply
stone.
because it might okay, but why should the step be all right. Okay, so let's say
I
there's
don't think it should
somebody,
be
all right?
punished because there's no way to prove it, but it shouldn't be punished. But I don't mind them getting bullied. I don't mind people getting bullied for those thoughts if those thoughts are made public
Okay. So let's
at
say all
all.
right. Okay. All right. So okay. Fuck. All right. So basically, I would have to say simply because it might be all right. Let's say there's somebody, all right, and they think about fucking children, all right.
Yeah.
Now they thought about it once, okay, and only once, right? Would you say that that person is inherently immoral because it theoretically might be a stepping stone? Like, would you say that like the thoughts of certain things, and like anything could be a stepping stone? Like, couldn't I just argue that like the thought of like maybe eating like eating something that's fast food might lead to like me becoming fat? Like, there's these things don't make sense. Like just simply because it might be a stepping stone doesn't make it inherently immoral.
It does. It falls under the entire umbrella. Some things can't because if you're thinking a thought can't be moral, then it can't be immoral or moral. So it's not moral or
Yeah,
immoral under
exactly.
your.
It isn't. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. A thought can't be morally judged. That's
But
impossible.
once you actually jacking off to the lollies, that is immoral because that is an action. You took action on the thought.
I mean, yeah, but we're talking about pedophilia, not lolly, right? Because right, that's where we're going to. Or do you want to go back to lolly?
Back to lollies because that's what I'm really
Okay.
here to talk about.
All right. All right. So I guess I would agree because you're like kind of feeding into it, but there's also like no proof that lolly like contributes to child rape. There's no proof of this.
Maybe
There
not, but
like
it contributes to people wanting to try more and more.
how? What do you mean? There's like literally no proof of this. So how would you
I'm
know?
I would say so because from experience in catfishing pedophiles, I've seen that they are typically really into lollies.
I mean,
They have a
obviously, because
crippling lolly addiction,
I mean,
which goes to show that the lollies
yeah,
probably led them to do
but that
this.
doesn't mean they're gonna start like grooming children.
But they do
They
because
okay, but like
they attempt to groom the catfish account that is supposedly 13.
I mean, yeah, but this isn't an argument against lollies because like simply because some pedophiles might do this doesn't mean every single pedophile is gonna start like grooming minors because they watch lolly once, right?
Well, yeah, like I said, if it's once, then repent, repent. If it's once, repent. That's all I could say. If it's once, repent for your actions.
But like these aren't, but like once again, these aren't like where like there's still no proof of this. Like simply because somebody might like something certain doesn't mean it's like they're gonna instantly become a child rapist, right?
Well, of course not instantly. That no one instantly becomes a child rapist, but it puts the thought in their mind, and it's like a cancer. It just takes over the mind. The more
Wait,
and
what do you
more.
mean?
If you
Wait.
do it once, you might be tempted to do it again. And then once you do it twice, you may be even more tempted to do it again. It's the same thing with any sort of addiction.
So you would say that like, all right, okay. So if you, all right, so simply because you, fuck, all right. Oh my god. Okay, I'm trying to find my words here. All right. So I would say that like they're like these are anecdotal, right? Like you can't sit here and say that every single like these things are just
Oh no,
purely
you
anecdotal.
can. You can
How?
sit here and say that these are immoral. You could say whatever you want, to be honest, but
I mean, yeah, but like morals don't fall off of what potentiality might say. Like the potentiality of like I could like get hit by a meteor, therefore I shouldn't go outside ever. And like the potentiality of like, oh, I might be like a fucking like I watched Lolly once, that means you're a child rapist. Like these
I'm not
don't
gonna
like
lie. I came in here with like a completely prepared to argue why lollicon is pedophilia.
no, yeah, I'm not that stupid. I like it's obviously pedophilia. I don't know. I don't know how you could argue against it. It's
So
literally
you think
depicting of
pedophiles
a
are
child.
wrong?
No, I think pedophiles are. I don't think they can be morally judged. I don't think pedophilia can be morally judged. I think that's impossible.
I think
That's not how
pedophiles need to
morals
seek
works.
help, and if not, then
I
and
mean,
if
obviously.
they choose not to seek help, then their morals are gone because they
Oh,
think that they should continue on their journey of
I
pedophilia. If
mean,
you don't seek
not
help,
really.
if you if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem, and that goes with
What do
self
you?
harm as well.
Okay. Well, okay. So like, fuck. All right. Cause I kind of don't want to pivot off the point, but I guess we're gonna kind of go here. All right. So like, would you say that like some? All right. So if you get told, right? This is what I see from like if. All right. This is what I see. I feel like it isn't really immoral simply because of the fact of like what society deems as like society deems pedophiles as like the worst people alive, right? Like at least like non-offending pedophiles, right? They think they should be locked up or something. Um, I don't think it's immoral just based off our like our current society where people say like pedophiles should die, all types of shit, right? And I don't think like so. All right, so I
Okay,
guess
wait.
I'll
So
use
let me
this
let me give you
example.
something here. So if somebody has no way of getting access to a gun where they are, but they really want to shoot someone really bad, is that morally wrong? But they just don't have the means to get their hands on it.
I
But if
mean,
they did, they would shoot someone. They would shoot
most
someone if they
pedophiles
have.
probably wouldn't want to groom children because they
If they
probably
could easily get away with it and had the means to do so, they most definitely would.
that's what okay. That's really anecdotal and not always true, right? From what I've seen
But
and from
for
like
most of the time, generally, it would be true. Would you
I mean,
disagree?
yeah, but like any okay. Okay, so I would say that my system is built off our current society. So I would say our current society rejects pedophiles with and like thinks they're terrible people, blah blah all type of stuff.
Yes, and they're
And I
correct.
would I don't think that. Okay. Ah, fuck. Okay. What I would say is that pedophilia, not seeking help for. Okay, let's say there's this depressed person, all right, and this
Mhm.
depressed person got told their entire life that they're crazy and that they're terrible and like all this. Most likely, they're not gonna want to seek help for this. Same thing with like pedophiles. Most likely, they're not gonna want to seek help for this because
I
they've been told their entire
I
life
don't
that it's
know you,
bad.
but the general census is depressed people are not horrible people. I have never
Mm,
seen that.
I mean, maybe not, but it used to be really destigmatized and people never got help for it.
That's not the case at the moment though, so
I
I don't
mean,
see the
yeah,
point of this
but
argument.
like you can use the past, right? Like, okay, my argument is that so basically, when we had depression as seen as like this terrible bad thing, right? It nobody wanted to get help for it. Now that we destigmatized it, it's like it's more socially
So you're
acceptable to
saying
be
we should
depressed and get
socially
help.
accept pedophiles?
No, I'm saying we should destigmatize it. That's yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think we should normalize it, but I think we should definitely destigmatize it where people could actually get help for this.
I think it's
No,
very common for people to and everyone I've heard talk about pedophilia, they don't say, "Hey, if you've ever thought about touching a child, kill yourself." It's more of you need you need mental help. I've heard that phrase more than anything when talking about pedophilia,
no,
unless it's actually had an act upon it, or you have groomed a child, or talked to a child underage and of the sort sexually. Then I've never seen anyone say like kill yourself or. And
I don't
I
know.
feel like watching lollies is taking action on pedophilia because you're actively searching for something to fill that desire for children. So you go to lollies and as a substitute.
Okay, but that like the okay. What do you? I don't know the type of people you've been talking to, but from the people I've talked to and the people that like I've used this
From what
argument
I've
right
seen, you're on
multiple
like
times.
you're on a decently toxic side of Twitter, so that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, yeah, but like most people like say they want to kill pedophiles and like all types of terrible shit, right? From what I've seen, most people don't like pedophiles. I don't know. Like from like the people I've talked to and like just the general con- consensus in the media would be like pedophiles should all die, all the like basic stuff.
That
I don't
makes
know.
people not want to be a pedophile. I mean, I feel like
No,
that if you
wouldn't
destigmatized
just
it,
not
I feel like if
be a
you destigmatized
pedophile.
it, some people may get more help. That's a slight possibility, but I think what would also happen is you would also just have more pedophilia because it's destigmatized.
But that, but like that's like saying we would have more depression because we destigmatize depression. No, what do you mean?
No,
Like we
it's
see
not
this with like all types of mental
because
illnesses.
depression is
Like
something you really won't like control, but
neither is pedophilia. You can't really control the attraction to children. You can't control an attraction.
well, you can prevent it. And if
You can
you
prevent it,
and you
but
can immediately go get help. The first time you ever think of something like that, you can immediately go get help.
not really. Not, at least not in our current society. People really hate pedophiles, so most people wouldn't want to get help for it. Yeah, I don't know. Like from the people I've talked to, like most people
From what
just
I've
want to
seen,
kill
every time
pedophiles.
someone, even after they've ended up like saying sexual things to minors, like on Twitter, people in the end, like at the very end, after everything's settled, people say this person needs to deactivate and go get help. I don't see them say this person needs to kill themselves on live. I don't see that.
I
I don't
mean,
see
but
that.
like most of the time, that's like fans of those people. Like most of the times when
That's
I
not what
see
I've
like,
seen.
for example, like what's his name? Like Mini Lad or like other people like what Mini Lad? Who else? Lion Maker actually is a good example of this. People basically just told Lion Maker to kill himself, which I yeah, like
Well,
rightfully so,
that's just
obviously.
like that's just the people that don't really matter, the people that won't really get to them or will actually, yeah, like, but that's because they're big people. They're, but on average, like the person without a following of millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people won't get told to kill themselves. They'll have people because it'll be in smaller, tight knit communities, and they'll be like,
I
wow,
mean, obviously,
this
but you'd
person
have more of
really,
like a personal.
really, really needs help.
Yeah, but like when you say in like small tight knit communities, you would have more of a personal connection to those people. Therefore, that's why you wouldn't say like they should die.
Exactly, but
Comparatively,
I feel like the majority of people in existence will be in a small, tight knit community rather than having hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers, or whatever that are going to just
I mean,
snap
obviously,
when
but
things go
these are
south.
like two different examples, right? So you're saying that like compared to a tight small knit community. I mean, obviously
Bigger
that small
communities
knit
are
community.
obviously going to have more toxicity. So I think in general, people think that's awful. That dude needs mental help. He's insane. That's that. Yeah, that's the what I hear the most with pedophiles is insane,
I
insanity.
mean, are you sure? Like with like Map Twitter is a good example of like people just
They're
saying like
insane.
pedophiles should kill themselves, right? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, that's just a
obviously they're
okay.
insane.
That's like
Sure, but like.
that's clashing of two different people. That's clashing of a toxic side of Twitter actively targeting people and the target that would work for anything. You could say that about furries. You could say that about gays. Some people will go on Twitter and specifically like target gay accounts and tell them to kill themselves. You could say that about anything.
I mean,
Doesn't mean
yeah, but
it's
like the
that doesn't mean it's
majority of what
stigmatized.
people say. Yeah, but it is stigmatized. What do you mean? Most people hate pedophiles.
No, I'm saying you can't say that about everything. You're trying to
No,
make
but
the
the
connection.
majority, like you might not say that about everything, but like you can make the majority rule of like, well, the majority of people think this, the majority of society believes this, therefore a majority of people are gonna believe this. I don't know. Like for example, a good example of
I
like,
don't know.
I don't know,
I just feel
Epstein,
like
right?
liking little girls should have a little bit of stigma behind it. A little bit
I
of
mean, yeah,
a
but it's
little
I don't know,
a little bit
I
of
don't
because it also keeps people away from it.
how. What do you mean?
Because if it's stigmatized, some because if it's destigmatized, people will go, "Oh, people think I'm crazy for this, but it's not inherently awful for me to do. I'm going to go check this out." It prevents that from happening. While you're saying, oh, that you might think, oh, that won't happen. That's because it's stigmatized right now. But in the future, if it's completely like destigmatized, that would most definitely be something that would happen from time to time.
No, I mean from time to time, obviously, but the majority, like you, like I can make the same. Okay, a good example, and I'm really like, I'm not trying to say depression and pedophilia are like the same thing, but depression's a good like example of like a mental illness that was destigmatized, right? And people get help for, right? So, depression, depression, what you call it? Depression was destigmatized, and now people are actually getting help for it compared to like back then, where like people weren't getting help for it at all because they saw it as
But
like
I feel
you're
like
insane.
pedophilia has more of a cause behind it than just, oh, it happens. I don't feel like it's usually outcasts and people that like incels, people that don't aren't able to get people to talk to them, that are really like social outcast, really disliked by everyone, because the younger people will talk to them without, judging them like the older people will, and then they start to form an attraction towards that.
I mean, not really. Most like people that end up becoming like child rapists are like got abused as a child themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Abuse.
but
It's
that
caused
doesn't
by
make them like
abuse.
social outcasts.
So
Yeah, exactly.
instead of destigmatizing pedophilia, maybe you should try and promote countermeasures to molestation and stuff like that.
But can't you like make more of a not countermeasure, but can't you make more of an effort? Like, oh my God, like can't you make more
I
of
think it
an
would be
effort?
better to prevent molestation than it would to than try
Yeah,
and
but we're
treat
not
the
gonna.
after effects.
Yeah, but we tried that so many times, and yet that's always gonna
I don't know.
happen.
I don't completely necessarily think anything should be completely mandatory, but I think people who highly recommend people who have been through sexual assault or any kind of molestation go to therapy, and that would definitely help prevent pedophilia.
Really? I mean,
Yes,
like how?
it
Like,
therapy is how you treat mental illness.
I mean, yeah, but you wouldn't be getting therapy for pedophilia. You'd be getting therapy for
Yeah,
getting
but
sexually abused.
okay. So being if you get pedophilia from being sexual abuse, it's a coping mechanism. Would you agree? It's a way of your brain coping with what has happened.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Yes.
yeah.
So, but if you go to therapy, you won't have to use that coping mechanism because you've been to therapy and you've gotten genuine help from the trauma.
But like, all right. So most of the time when we talk about like when people become pedophiles from sexual assault, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say most of them become pedophiles because like their brain gets locked at like the age that they were molested at. It's not because it's not because really like it's a coping but mechanism, but more because of the fact of like that
Well, the
person
therapy
got
will help with
locked
that
in that
because if
mindset.
they get locked in that mindset, then the therapy will supposed to the therapy is supposed to help them move on from what happened in that event and anything that happened from that event.
But that doesn't change getting locked in that mindset. Therapy won't
Yeah,
help that because it's
that's
an
an effect.
attraction.
That if that's an effect, then the therapy is supposed to help fix that issue.
But you can't.
The
Like,
therapist can diagnose that. You can fix that for sure with therapy.
what do you mean? Like, you can't get rid of an attraction. If you're attracted to a child, like, you're gonna
You can get rid
probably
of
always.
attraction. That's why you go to therapy for it.
What? That's not true though. Like, what do you mean? Like, gay people can't get rid of being gay? What? Huh? Confused. Like,
It's a
I feel
mindset. Attraction
it's
is a mindset, and therapy is all about changing your mindset.
attraction is a mind. How so? How is attraction a
Because
mindset?
attraction is a think. If you think something is attractive, correct? That'd be the right time. I
Yeah,
think this is attractive. So
yeah.
changing what you can change the way you think, which means you can change what you think is attractive.
I, I, I guess, but like that. That's not like that. Could be like on like more of like the way you look at people than really like the attraction to a certain gender. Like we like what you
It's
if
in general.
okay,
It's the way
let's
you
say
think in
theoretically.
general.
So do you think like conversion therapy works? Like do you think this works for gay people?
Oh, it can most definitely work. Do I think it should be required or forced? Absolutely not. But does it work? Yes. If somebody wants to do it, they should be able to. Should someone be forced into it? No, they should not. In my opinion, personally,
If conversion
that's their
therapy worked,
decision.
then
If it's forced, it probably won't work because that's something someone wasn't want to do.
what? But we've seen over and over again, conversion therapy has never worked. What do you mean? Like
That's not.
that?
How do you
that
know? Do you know
because
everyone that's
if
ever been to
conversion,
conversion therapy? I think if it's
um,
optional and someone just personally just doesn't want to, they shouldn't have to like be attracted to something they don't want to be attracted to. If that makes any sense. It's like a choice. It should be your choice.
but okay,
You go there to change your mindset completely.
change your mindset, but like that might be able to change your mindset, but that doesn't change your inherent attraction to another sex.
It can,
You
because that's
mean
just attraction is just a mindset.
it? No,
Therapy is
attraction is
therapy is you're molding your mind into a better shape. Well, I don't want to
your
say better, but
mo-
to a different shape. That could be, it could be taken out of context, considering the last what we've been talking about. So,
that just a different shape. Yeah.
it's just a different shape. I'm not gonna say better.
Okay. All right. So, all right. The reason I say conversion therapy doesn't work, the reason I say this is because like we have no like actual proof of conversion therapy working. Like we're like where's the proof of this? Like simply because you
Conversion
think
camps.
attraction might be,
Conversion
huh?
camps exist. Conversion camps, are they ethical? Definitely not. But do they work? Yep.
Do they?
In other countries where it's like extremely frowned upon and illegal to be gay or whatever.
I mean, yeah, but you wouldn't be committing the
Someone
like
in
you
my
would still
chat
have
said it.
that attraction.
Someone in my chat said it worked on Mike Pence.
Yeah, but like you'd still have that attraction just because you stop like just
No, it
because you
helps
don't
change your
date men.
mindset. It makes it easier, and then over time you can morph yourself out of that mindset. It may take a really long time, but it'll diminish smaller and smaller until it's gone. That's the
Gone.
whole.
Just
That's the
the
whole
attraction
part of it.
itself, or like you just become like asexual or something.
The attraction to whatever you're trying to get rid of because you change your mindset. You change the way you think about those people. You change the think you if you have a sexual attraction to guys and you don't want to, you go to therapy to change the way you think about guys. And then change the way you think about girls if that's what you want to be attracted to.
Hold up, just looking at something. To change the current. Wait, hold up. duh, duh, duh.
I think people saying conversion therapy working or not, that was a very, very controversial topic, so it's going to be really hard to find a reliable source for that. You're just going to have to use like sense and stuff.
Do you have any
Oh
reliable
shit, a
source
hype
for it?
train. Besides the point of it working in other countries on a mass scale with conversion camps, that's pretty much it. Because if it didn't work, they wouldn't do it.
I mean, yeah, but
They would
like
just
the
kill him if it
reason
didn't work.
I mean, the reason. All right, but you wait. All right. So the reason those the reason it worked, quote unquote, isn't because they lost the attraction. It's because they stopped talk. They stopped like talking about like wanting to fuck a child, right? Like not
No,
fucking a
they don't
child,
just
but
stop
they
talking about it.
stop.
They stop thinking about it in general.
Well, how do you know that? Like you can't look into somebody's mind. How would you know? They could easily just be lying. Like I don't know.
That's not for me to tell. The psychiatrists have their ways. They study this for years and they go to college or whatever school and they study for like 12 years to go well, some of them not so much. Some of them kind of just fake it, but clearly some of them do, but this whole study of psychology, there's so much that goes into it. And you actually can sometimes look not like like not like a sci-fi look into their head at their thoughts, but you can think of the look into similar ways that people are thinking. Like lie detectors, I mean, they work a good amount of the time.
Or-
But there's a reason that they work a good amount of the time. It's because there's been studies behind the lie detectors and how they work and why they work, and while they're not consistent, they have gotten better.
mm, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just reading something right now. Just I don't know. Curious about this. Ah. Yeah, we all know, blah blah. Interesting. Wait, so like, what countries has it worked for?
It's so funny.
I know, it's very funny, dude. All right, so like, what countries has it worked for anyway?
I don't know, but I just know that it's happened in the past.
It's happened in the past.
there are you could just look up conversion camps. Conversion camps are a thing, and like I'm gonna assume just like dictatorship countries or countries like more in the Middle East where it's like extremely frowned upon.
Well, okay, no, I don't think you're talking about getting rid of the attraction. I think you're talking about suppressing the attraction. Like I don't think you're like you can suppress an attraction compared to getting rid of it, right? You'll
Well, if
still
you
always
suppress
have
it,
that
it's also
attraction.
if you suppress it, that's proof that it works because it's not as strong. It's not completely gone, but it's not completely there.
Exactly.
It's really
Exa-
fucked up, but it works. It's really fucked up in the camps, but it works because it makes them scared of the attraction.
Makes them scared of the attraction.
Yeah, because
Well,
it makes
all
them
right.
scared to reveal the attraction, so it moves it to the back of their head, It's deep
Exactly,
in their
but
head.
they would
It's deep,
still always
it's
have that
there.
attraction, though. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
in
So
the
it's still
camp. But if
still
you're
there.
willingly trying to get rid of that thought, then you can.
But yeah, exactly. You can, right? So
So
like
if
if
you
you're
want
okay,
if you're a pedophile and you genuinely want help, you can get rid of the attraction.
no, you can suppress the attraction, of course, but you can't like get rid of that inherent attraction, right? Like
That's only if
if you
you're against it. If you're mentally against getting rid of the attraction, you don't want to get it's not going to go away, but you can suppress it. But if
yeah,
you're willing to if you want it to go away, then you can definitely work towards it going away until it's almost gone, like completely. And then you continuously go to therapy to keep it back, to keep it gone. You can't just get rid of it completely and stop. Although it does fuck up your life
yeah,
because you
but
have to go to therapy for the rest of your life.
that's
It's
literally
bad.
not at all how therapy works. Like you can't you like it's physically impossible, and this has like been proven. You can like I said,
Yeah,
you can suppress
you
the
can train your
attraction.
mind to know that the attraction is not okay.
I mean, yeah, but like you're never gonna get rid of that attraction, though. Like you can
You
say it's
you
wrong
can you can
all you
very
want,
well
but
you
you never
can
get rid
very
of
well
it.
get rid of that attraction.
How though?
There are
Because
people
there
that
is
go to
no studies
therapy.
on that.
Then that's like saying going to therapy is not going to cure depression because the depression is going to be with you for the rest of your
Yeah,
life.
like it always is. Yeah, that's how depression works.
It's not because
Depression isn't gonna just go away.
some people do go to therapy for depression and get over it and better their lives because they turn their lives around, they change their diets, they change everything that was causing the depression, and you can get rid of it. You can do the
But
same thing with pedophilia.
a lot of the times though, those aren't that isn't like in like hardcore depression, right? Like if I that isn't like full on depression. That might be they might be in a depressive state, or maybe they're in a bad mental state right now. If
Well,
it's
that's what
either because
depression
of
works, and
this
then
or
they have
that.
pills for depression. Um, I think they should have some for actual offenders of pedophilia. People who have acted upon it and you know done acts on children or groomed children. I think they should give them medication like cyanide.
Like what? That's not medication, but yeah, sure.
I think it would get rid of the problem completely.
Uh, I don't know about that, but that's
The problem's
interesting.
gone. I don't think they would ever groom a child again.
But yeah, I say we just give everybody cyanide. I'm gonna be honest. Let's see what happens.
All right.
I say we just murder half of the population. Just
Hey
fill
man,
the water tanks with cyanide and just see what happens for the lulz. For the
just for
meme.
funsies, let's just
Yeah,
give it a try. Just a social experiment.
exactly. Just for the funsies. No, nothing else. It'd be fun. Yeah. Okay. But like I was saying, right? Um. All right. Like these aren't like. Is there studies that depression actually goes away?
Yes,
Rare. Like I'm curious
you
to
would have to
see.
find it. There's definitely that's depression is probably the reason therapy exists. So there are definitely studies on that.
Uh, therapy. Therapy. Wow. Oh my God. Drug abuse. So much. Permanent cure. There is no cure for depression, but there are effective treatments. People can recover from the depression.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
but that's
can't.
not a cure. Those aren't cures.
That's like
Like
saying there's no cure for AIDS, but you can treat it to where you can live a normal life.
yeah, exactly.
A normal life to where the AIDS won't affect you anymore. Just like you can treat a life to where the depression won't affect you anymore, and you can treat the pedophilia to where the pedophilia won't affect your life anymore.
Yeah, but like
Which means you would have to keep going back because
no, but
a cure is a one and done. It's gone. But a treatment is something you have to continuously do to keep it gone, or it'll come back. So you would have to
Yeah.
continuously go to therapy.
Yeah, exactly. So you wouldn't be curing it. You would be having a treatment for it. Those things are
Yeah.
two completely different things. These aren't treatments. These are like things that you constantly have to do to like to suppress the urge or suppress some of the attraction. These aren't cures. A cure is something that will cure you
Some people
forever. Like
do
you'll never have
complete
that thing.
some people do completely overcome depression, and they'll never have to go to therapy again, and they won't be depressed anymore.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they might not be like in the same depressive stump, I guess, but like they'll still always have that depression. It can always come back. What do you mean? Like treatments, like you understand that treatments and like cures are two different things. Like cure is something that is like something instantly compared to
No, a
like
treatment lets you go about your daily life, but you have to continue the treatment.
exactly, but
A
that
cure
isn't.
is a one and done.
Yeah,
A
exactly.
cure is a one and
So
done.
so we
So
would agree
while the
then.
treatment is being done, it is usually if it's a good treatment and it's come a long way, you'll basically it'll be done. Like depression, if you treat depression with antidepressants, a lot of people won't be depressed on the
Mm,
antidepressants.
but okay, so what I'm trying to say is that like a cure and a treatment are two different things.
Yeah, I agree, but while taking the treatment, it lets you go about your daily life without it affecting you. Like pedophilia, if you're able to treat pedophilia by going to therapy, then you would be able to go about your normal life without the pedophilia affecting you.
Exactly, but that isn't the same thing as a cure.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a
Like,
cure, but you wouldn't have that attraction while treating it.
okay, right, all right. So you're saying that you said earlier that there's a cure for like depression. That's
Well,
what you said.
you can
You
overcome it.
you
That's an emotion. You can overcome
I mean, yeah,
emotions.
obviously you can overcome
Because
depression.
emotions also have to do with brain chemistry, and you can permanently change your brain chemistry. Like, brain chemistry is not set in stone.
Yeah, I feel like it
Because
is.
you can have higher levels of dopamine, you can have lower levels of dopamine, stuff like that.
Yeah, but like these are things that could like these are things like well, that's not brain. Like that's something you can physically change with your body. Like
Dopamine
not
and such, yeah,
no,
you
sorry, not
definitely can
dopamine.
change
Sorry,
that.
sorry.
Dopamine,
Oh, sorry.
estrogen, stuff like that. You can
Uh,
definitely change that.
estrogen,
Oh,
no,
people do change
estrogen is
that.
body. What?
No, that's brain
No,
chemistry. Estrogen is brain chemistry.
is it?
Yeah, because
Bro.
you have the four different parts of brain chemistry. It's I think testosterone, estrogen, serotonin, and dopamine. That's brain chemistry.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Well, I'm safe. All right. Oh, okay. You might be able to change your brain chemistry, but like these aren't these
A lot of
treatments
people
aren't
are
cures.
a lot of like depression as like a mental illness is caused by unbalanced brain chemistry. That's why you can fix it with pills.
I mean, yeah,
That's a
but like
cure. I would say
these
that's
are
a cure. I'd say that's a cure.
but these no, but these aren't cures. A cure is something that's one and done. You can have treatment for something, but you'll never actually have a
You
cure
can
for
have an
the effect.
accurate treatment that works.
Yeah, you can have something that works, but it'll
And
never
it's
be the
not
same thing as
suppression.
a
It's
cure.
gone as long as you keep treating it, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you
These are
stop treating it.
suppressive.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying. Same with
exactly.
pedophilia. It'll be gone.
Yeah,
It'll
it
be
won't be
gone
gone.
while
It'll
you're
be
treating it.
suppressed.
While you're treating it, but it can come back. It won't be there
Exactly.
while it's being treated though. Like you
Okay,
won't
but
be
you
attracted to
understand what a
minors.
cure is,
You
right?
won't be attract Yeah, I'm saying you won't be attracted to minors while being treated with therapy unless you stop therapy, which you shouldn't.
I mean, obviously, like you understand? Okay, because you're conflating the two, a cure versus a treatment. Like you're
No,
just
I agree that
conflating.
a treatment is something that you have to continuously do without stopping. But a
Exactly,
cure
but
is a
you're
one and
saying
done.
that there's 100% cure. Like you
No,
can
I'm
get
saying
rid
there's a
of the
good treatment.
attraction
It'll be
itself.
gone as long as you're treating it. But if you stop treating it, it comes back.
Yeah, I would agree. What I'm
Yes.
so confused. Okay. All right. Okay. Like let's just get back to the lolly topic. I don't know. I think we've been on that topic for a while. Okay.
I think we have two.
Yeah, it's just kind of confusing because I'm just kind of I don't know. Okay. All right. I have a point against, by the way, your whole like thing against lolly, right? So you said that like the consumption of lolly would be morally bad, right?
Yes.
Okay, but these aren't things to why it's morally bad in general, right? Like what is morally bad about law? Like you okay, so you're saying child porn itself is morally bad, right?
Yes.
All right, but what is your argument against it being morally bad? Like I can make arguments onto why like a child masturbating on camera would be morally bad, right?
Yeah, because
Because it's
I would agree that okay, I will agree that actual child porn is much much worse than lollies, but lollies are also bad.
but the okay, you're no okay. So I think that oh fuck. All right. So I think the thing that you're conflating is that like child porn is okay. Lolly is like fuck.
It's
Okay.
drawn CP. It's drawn
Yeah.
CP.
Okay. So you
So
think
so you agree it's
that the
CP?
spreading you think the spreading of child do you think the spreading you okay, so you see more of the spreading of the lolly to be more morally wrong than like the lolly itself. That's the
Yes.
way I see your
Yes.
argument. Okay, so
Because
you don't see lolly as
especially people that are
bad.
posting it, like the people on Twitter that'll post it to multiple people, because then other people could see it, and then they'll see all that these people like it, and they go, "Oh, it's normal." Or especially if someone is young, they'll think, "Oh, this is cool," because all these people like it, and it seems to be a big community. It seems to be a big thing. I want to be a part of this, and then they get kind of almost indoctrinated into the culture of lollies or pedophilia.
Okay, but these wouldn't be like you'd be have the problem with spreading it, not the problem with lolly itself. Like these aren't like these two things are
Yeah, that's
completely
the same
different.
with meth. Making
No,
meth,
okay, well,
there's
okay,
it's the same
all
thing.
right,
I said that earlier. This
okay. So
distribution
this
of
is
meth
like
is
okay,
awful, but the making of meth is also awful because they're making it for a specific reason.
okay,
No one's gonna
all
make
right,
meth just to leave it there.
okay, all right, all right, all right. This is okay. This is gonna be a better. This is gonna be a little bit an example, right? So let's say I have somebody, all right. Now I have a hot dog, okay. Now
Yeah.
I say this hot dog isn't itself isn't bad, right? Like I wouldn't say this hot dog itself would be bad, and then I go, okay, so like I would say, all right, so so the spreading of the hot dog, so like giving it to other people would be morally bad, right? Like these two things aren't the same thing, because you like there's a difference between seeing
No, no,
something
no.
as
Because
inherently morally bad and
there's something called intent, and the
yeah,
intention is
exactly.
to make it for these people. So if the intent is immoral, the action is
Okay, but
immoral.
okay, well, all right. So would I say like so let's fuck, all right. So I would say, oh my god, because it's just I'm so confused right now. All right. So let's say if I trying to think it over. Just interested. So hard, dude. Fuck. Mm, Action. Sorry, just really fucking focus on this game. Alright. Alright. Jesus. I want to talk so
You got my
bad.
whole chat talking about hot dogs now.
Thank you. Yeah.
They're talking about 12-inch hot dogs, fat juicy dogs.
Mhm. Yo, would you be fine if ANCAP could talk? Would you be
Um,
fine?
I don't know. From what I've seen on his camera over here, he seems I don't know if he can be trusted on stream.
Yeah, he should be good. Or the
I
ANCAP
don't
talk.
know. Wait,
That's so funny.
wait. If he
Talk.
could talk, could I bring someone else in?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, all right. I'm gonna have to. Oh God, I'm
Because
gonna have
if
to.
you want, we could do, I guess, a 2v2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
That's the
Let me switch to the starting screen. No, not the starting screen. This screen. Oh no. Um, um, no. Give me a
I'm
minute.
gonna have I'm gonna have the BLM going into the scroll and then Dylan Burns
Dylan Burns. You mean Bunk? What do you mean? That's not Dylan Burns. That's Bunk.
Yeah, that's bunk. Ah,
All right,
so
I gotta add another thing real quick so I can
What do you mean?
accommodate for four people.
That's literally
yeah,
Bunk. What do you mean, dude?
no, I'll show you. They look the same, really.
No, they don't. No,
Anyways,
no, no.
big
All
sign.
right, let
I've
me
been
add
hearing
something
lots of
add somebody really quick. Um
I've been hearing some awesome stuff during this debate. It's been making me laugh. I'm not
I
gonna
could see you laughing.
Yeah.
lie.
I could see you laughing this whole time.
Yeah.
He was just cooming to like wanting to talk.
Yeah, I could tell.
Ah.
All right, I added him. Let's see if he joins. I added him. He's in the stream.
Oh, I know this guy. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
This guy was an
Yeah,
Oddwin
who's-
server.
yeah.
This guy was an Oddwin server.
No, he wasn't. What?
He was.
Whose server? What server was that? Wait, which server was that?
Oddwin.
Oddwin?
What server? What's the server name?
It's just,
It's gone now. I forgot.
yeah,
Oh.
No, he wasn't. Then the profile picture maybe, but this guy was definitely not in there.
Yeah, that's this.
All right.
that was
Well,
Amy,
if he doesn't join here, let me call him real quick because he's the one that wanted to be on earlier. Let me call him
I
real
think
quick
this
on
is Amy.
here. Let me call him really quick. He wanted to join. He wanted to join, dude. He wanted to join, and now he won't join. So I might have to add somebody else. Hey, I added you to the debate call. Join.
I just got home. Hold on.
All right.
Okay.
Be quick. All right, he's gonna join. Anyways, just So how's everyone's night going so far?
Been pretty good.
Pretty good.
Uh,
You guys like tiramisu?
Yeah, it's really good. I haven't ate it in a long time.
Yeah, I love tiramisu, but I actually hate coffee.
Really? Oh, I love coffee. Coffee's
Oh, I
good.
hate coffee, but I love tiramisu.
I probably should have drank a coffee like during this debate.
Oh yeah, I've had G Fuel in here the whole time for caffeine.
Dude, I gotta get me something. I want to drink Monster, but I'm not.
Monster's got way too much. That's not really a good thing for me to say because I just drank a bunch of G Fuel. So. Oh.
So if you want, we can also do the abortion topic. That's a really interesting topic.
The guys that's gonna join the call, that'll be good for the abortion topic. That'll be good.
Really?
That's like his topic, dude.
He's against abortion, right?
Yes. Oh man, I missed Paradise in chat saying that he'd come on.
Paradise. Jesus.
Paradise.
We almost
Oh,
had Paradise. We almost had Paradise on stream.
Paradise went on like everybody, which it was just.
Oh, man.
It would be
Remember those-
AIDS. I don't want Paradise on because it's just.
No, I think
don't know.
Paradise has
He's
really
been-
good takes on
he's been-
everything.
He's been on my he's been too much on my stream. I want to like diversify it.
The thing with
So-
Paradise is you get him on. It's like
I've got a
you-
bunch.
you
Everyone
say-
in my chat wants in the ring now. They said I'll get in the ring.
You say Paradise. You say like you bring Paradise on. You're like, yeah, I just want to debate against Paradise. That's like saying you want to debate against like an autist. Like it's just.
Nah, Paradise has
Good one,
really
dude.
good takes. Paradise has really good takes.
Yeah, he like takes all my takes.
No one really wants in. You know what? Do you have anyone else you want to add? It could be a 3v3.
Nah, I'm good. We can 2v3 you guys.
2v3?
especially Paradise. If Paradise is on, then definitely 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Paradise.
Okay.
wants on, then
Okay.
it's-
Fight over it. Fight over it. You guys get to fight. Paradise and Non. Fight for the spot.
I mean, I don't know. Paradise, like if we got Paradise on, I don't know. I feel like it would be bullying. Personally.
All right. Yeah. No.
Paradise-
No.
Paradise
That.
is-
There. Okay. The thing is. Okay. The way I think of it, I think maybe Non would be a better pick because Paradise has Paradise. It could be what's the thing bias because you and Paradise are on Twitter and he knows you, and Non doesn't know anything about you but what he's seen in the stream. So that's completely
weird. A lot of
unbiased.
people know who I am, which is weird.
Well, Non doesn't because he's not really on Twitter, and I think he probably has me muted on Twitter, probably for good reason. It's probably extremely obnoxious.
When
Here.
you're adding someone, it's supposed to be like a good thing for you. But when you add Paradise, it's like a minus point. Like
Here,
so
I'll
if
add
you
Non. I'll
somebody-
add Non.
Add somebody else in Paradise, it's just like 1 point.
Non's also really funny, so.
Alright, what's up, Non?
All right, what's up, Non?
None. I have like none.
So, a little bit about this guy.
He's Bagel.
No, no. Who was the guy you were originally with? Like when I walked in.
Bagel.
Bagel.
Not the guy with the face cam on. So the guy with the face cam.
The guy with the face cam on was the whole time. I just had him out.
All right.
I was ANCAP.
He wasn't talking though.
Wait, someone else was in here apart from just you two?
Yeah, I just didn't have his camera on because he just wanted to listen, I guess.
Was it this guy right here?
The dude with the face cam, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
ANCAP.
All right. Well, are you gonna start us off?
I guess. What are we gonna talk about? Abortion?
Lolly.
Lolly? We gonna keep talking about lollies? All right, go ahead. Just y'all keep going.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this.
All right, then spit your knowledge.
Okay, so I think lolicon on its own, when it's just drawn itself, like when it's not spread or drawn or just kept to one person, I think that's morally fine. I think there's no way you could say it's not morally good, as there's no evidence to actually suggest that it leads down this pedo pipeline to eventually lead to molestation. I haven't seen an actual like source for that recently, as I've had this conversation before. Um, I do think I think the spreading of lolicon itself is a moral bad, as most lolicon, to access it, you actually need to go on websites that are linked to actual child pornography and
Or just
to
search it on Twitter.
incentivize and marketize.
It's
Yeah,
half
to
of Twitter has
incentivize.
it.
Yeah, yeah, but like a
I
lot of this
disagree with
lolicon stuff,
cap on that one. I would. I
Just
disagree with
a
him
lot,
heavily on that one. Huh?
a lot of lolicon is actually connected to websites, websites which have actual CP on them, and when you marketize and incentivize that content, it then incentivizes actual CP, which means that it's saying, okay, there's a demand for this content, supply and demand, that will mean that actual CP will get more CP will get created, which CP being created most of the time is morally wrong, as the child is knowingly being manipulated. Now, when it comes to CP, I'd say some of it's morally fine. When it comes to, if it's, say, let's say hypothetically there's a child in a bathtub, I don't know, and somebody takes a picture of this child and they don't know, and that person just keeps it on their phone and doesn't send it to anyone, I think that's morally fine. If you, like, coming from the utilitarian perspective, I don't think there's anything morally wrong with that itself.
But you're not
It,
hurting
it
anybody.
Wait a second. So what qualifies as CP? If you're just taking a photo of a little kid in a bath, I don't think that qualifies as CP. I think that qualifies as
because
taking a photo of your child in the bathtub.
because people post pictures of their little babies in the bathtub all the time on like
Exactly.
Facebook.
It's CP when it becomes a sexual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
how could you do?
at that point, it doesn't become CP until you think
Yeah,
about
lolly
it as
and
CP.
in
Then
the
it
US
becomes
lolly isn't
immoral.
legal. In the US lolly isn't legally CP, but I think morally it's on like similar grounds, although CP is definitely worse. It's still horrible because it's drawn CP. But in like
It
Australia
still
and some other
depicts like
places,
5-year-olds in this
children,
light that they
7-year-olds,
shouldn't
8-year-olds,
have.
9-year-olds, yes. It sexually depicts 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds.
When I
I'm
say
not
the
debating it.
bathtub, when I say the bathtub, I'm meaning it in a sexual context. Like the original aggressor was doing it in a sexual context.
Okay, so a guy finds a random kid in the bathtub somehow.
Takes a picture through the
8-year-old
window.
takes a picture in a for the sexual contact. That is somehow not immoral. Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't see it as immoral if he doesn't spread it. And are you a utilitarian? I'm gonna just ask this real quick.
I don't even know what utilitarian means.
Yeah,
Okay,
neither do
so-
I. He says random.
Okay,
Neither
so-
do I, man.
Okay, so that's basically, so when I talk morality, it's like how people use like sexualities to kind of shorten their perspective. Utilitarian basically just means, okay, you seek all benefit for humanity. You want humanity to be in the best possible place it can. You want to maximize happiness, essentially.
And to do
anyways,
that, you need to allow people to gratify themselves in immoral ways,
no, to do
such
that,
as
so
masturbating sexually to a 5-year-old in a bathtub, so
no,
long as it doesn't get
you're
spread.
actually conflating my point. You're actually just like,
All
why
right,
did I
hold on.
say that? What? No, what I'm
continue.
saying
Sorry, I'm
is,
sorry.
there wouldn't be anything more. There wouldn't be anything like morally wrong with somebody actually accessing this CP, keeping it on their phone, and then not distributing it.
So
I
do you think that should be
there's
illegal?
nothing wrong with that.
Do you think that should be illegal?
No, but it's moral. Like he's not using legality. He's just saying based off morals.
I think it's illegal because it's immoral.
I mean, but like a lot of things.
Does legality define your morality? What about marijuana? When it comes to marijuana, what makes that what makes that immoral when you access it, right? What makes that immoral? Like a lot of countries have marijuana to be it's immoral. It's just
Like
illegal.
for example,
Okay, he just
would
turned
you
into a
say-
robot.
Yeah.
He
would you
just someone unplugged him.
Yeah, but like would you say that like Nigeria is like if let's say the age of consent was like 11 and I fucked an 11-year-old?
Immoral.
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 Yeah, exactly. But like you're saying you're using legality as an argument, and we're saying that that's not a good argument.
But there's a reason that it's illegal. Do you agree it should be
Okay.
illegal?
Well, that's culture based.
Yeah, but we're
That's
not
culture based.
arguing.
It's culture
That's
based.
not.
Yes.
We're not
So
arguing
to them,
whether
it's
it
not
should be
immoral, but to
legal
us
or
it is.
not.
That's like the whole debate with like the people who live in America saying that the age of consent is 13 in Japan, so they use that as a way to lessen the fact that they masturbate to like 13-year-olds.
But we're not talking.
Tooth,
We're not talking about
Tooth, can I
legality.
Yeah, but
ask,
it's
how do you think
That's
morality?
that's the whole point I'm making is that it's based off of culture when it comes to morality on age of consent.
Okay, I guess.
That's
But,
true.
when-
Nigeria,
well,
if,
we're not-
if the age of consent in Nigeria was 11 years old, then an average Nigerian who was having sex with an 11-year-old wouldn't think he was doing anything wrong, because that's the status quo.
because it's the way you're growing up. That's the way your brain was
Exactly.
built.
That's what
You
you're
were
taught.
morphed around that
It
sense
doesn't
that that's
matter
okay.
about the American interpretation of it,
Talking
because
about-
that's their own
yeah.
interpretation of it.
The majority, yeah, that's how the majority of morality works. But I'm gonna ask you, Tooth, what defines good and bad in your opinion? What makes things good or bad?
I think some things are just objectively bad, but that's a whole other fucking can of worms. See, that's philosophy. That's like a 6-hour
believe in
fucking
objective
discussion right
morality.
there. That's a 6-hour fucking discussion right there.
Yeah, but you kind of need to like at least loosely define it, or else we're never gonna be able to like find something any ground to agree on, right? Like,
I don't know, Non. What do you think? What do you
believe
think
in
defines good and
objective or
bad?
subjective are
What? I did not hear a thing anyone just said.
What do you think? What do you think makes something good or bad?
I think if something's bad, if it hinders the progression and the actual happiness of society, I think. I also think involuntary.
Pedophiles thinking about little girls makes me extraordinarily unhappy. Does that make it
That's
bad?
true.
So it's and it makes the majority of
The
society
general-
extraordinarily
the general
unhappy.
Consensus is that pedophilia is bad in most
Yeah.
countries generally.
Yeah.
Any country that is
So
not
by-
a third world country does not like pedophilia.
So by your definition, you've just told us that pedophilia is immoral by your own.
No,
your own
because I
logic.
also
If the whole thing is that if it's beneficial to humanity, there's a difference between utilitarianism by your own definition that makes people feel the happiest and hedonism. That's hedonism. Hedonism is self-gratification. That's all that is. Such as having sex constantly because it makes you happy. That's called hedonism. So the whole case for pedophilia, does it make the person happy? No, that's a hedonist argument. Not a utilitarian argument. Not at all a utilitarian argument. That's a whole different branch. Because it's not making that person's life better in any way. It's just gratifying him short term. That's it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's not
this
in
is
the
true.
actual self-interest person. Yeah. Okay. So I'm also trying to get to the utility here. So we also want to minimize any actual things that we could see as bad. We want to minimize any actual things. I see it as if it's not like actually hurting or actually physically or mentally hurting somebody, then there's no way to limit it, right? Like, there's no way we should not limit it.
Well,
You kind of get that?
that's just the thing, is that most people don't really understand how porn works in your brain. Is that the more and more you consume the same content, you will get bored of that content and wish to progress. You will get bored. That's an actual psychoanalysis of pornography. Is that you will get bored of the stuff that you
Yes,
consistently
that's what I was
watch, and
trying
you
to
will
say
seek
earlier.
more provocative stuff. And if the only pornography, say, it's fine that you have it in your house. People who are pedophiles are gonna want to go the step further. That's what their brain's gonna tell them to do because it doesn't
Yeah,
release
that's
as much
what I-
dopamine
that I
as
was-
it
that's
did.
what I was
It's
bringing
a
up earlier.
gateway. It is a gateway addiction
Yeah.
to the
Do you
real
have a
problem.
source?
The only way to watch any study on Jordan Peterson and pedophilia. He says what I've just said.
Jordan Peterson.
He is. He's a psychologist. He's a clinical
Jordan
psychologist. He
Peterson.
studies that stuff, and that's a
Why is
study
he
that he
like
did.
the
This is
old
why
psychologist
that's what I was
that
bringing up earlier when I was talking about me being anti-porn. Is that porn in itself?
Jordan
Studies have shown that if you watch porn, the more porn you watch, the more likely you are to attempt to find child porn, watch underage intercourse.
Exactly. You're going to want to find more stuff that
Yeah.
makes you feel good, and the stuff that makes your balls feel good. And eventually, the same stuff is going to stop making your nuts feel nice, and you're going to want to look for more stuff. That's it. That's a real thing. People who've watched porn know that. That's why most of the people who have been watching porn for a long time end up gay, furry, or pedophiles. That's it.
Yes.
Just saying.
There are a lot of people that are gay because of porn addiction, and once they quit the porn
Exactly.
addiction, the gay goes
One of
away.
my friends
And-
what went down that route.
But sometimes it can even have lasting effects. Even if it was because of the porn, quitting the porn won't make it go away immediately. and
Yeah.
it could have lasting effects that are almost permanent.
Not only that, but porn in and of itself has devastating psychological problems.
It has,
it prevents your brain from developing properly when you have that much dopamine released in your brain
Yeah.
at a single time.
It has similar effects to the reliantness, like it's similar effects to cocaine.
Yes, the way the dopamine activates in your brain is that of cocaine. That's true.
It has
And that's
a
because
similar
it's
addiction.
it's a biological receptor. It's something that's initiated without having the use of a foreign object. It's something you do to yourself.
Yes.
Okay, but I'm so confused. Where did we take this conversation from? Porn to like.
Well,
Yo,
to
Ancap, you
understand
good?
if porn is relatively an
RTC
issue, you have to
disconnected
break it
from-
down.
Ancap, you good there,
Alright.
buddy?
He keeps turning his
Okay,
camera on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He keeps
Good fuck.
moving
Oh, wait,
everything
no,
around,
no,
shifted
it's
all
like-
the squares. He's playing one of those puzzles where you have to move all the squares and make the picture.
This shit fucking lost.
My fucking RTC keeps disconnecting.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Hey, he's
so-
here! He's here!
Oh, dead.
All right.
He's here!
Okay. All right. So my main point here is okay. So if we want right now we want to from my perspective, all right. I want to essentially this porn argument I have to see as, do you believe in like something as voluntary? Do you think voluntary things are moral? Obviously children can't consent, so that wouldn't be voluntary, right? But like, do you think most voluntary things are moral on their own? Would you say that two people agreeing to something and doing that is moral, right?
I would say it would depend on what they're agreeing on
Depends on
doing.
the
If two
context,
people
yes.
agree to shoot somebody up, no, I don't think that's moral at all.
No, that's not what the fuck
You
did that
said
happen? No,
you
I
just
thought-
said
You
something.
said
left that
no
completely
context.
open to
You
interpretation.
gave no context in that. You
What if
gotta
two
walk
dudes-
into that
no,
one.
Okay.
No,
people-
what if
okay.
two dudes agree to give each other AIDS? Is that moral?
Yes. Yeah. I'll love.
It is moral.
I have to turn this up. What the
It's
hell
fucking
is that
gay.
song? I never listened. Oh, that's what I was listening to earlier. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, yeah. Continue.
Okay.
Who was talking? Okay.
So
That was my bad.
morally, what the fuck, dude? I'm
Is
literally
this dude
just
in
forgot
Brazil or
everything.
something?
Yeah.
Who are the
he was
people
shit.
on your profile picture?
Yes,
Why does
yeah,
your
bro.
camera have Black Lives Matter constantly
Oh my
scrolling across it?
Colin, Colin.
He's on Twitter, bro. He's on
Like,
Twitter.
don't
Which you're
ask.
But who are those two people?
Don't ask.
These
No,
random
just don't
Joes.
ask.
You probably don't want to know. I don't know, and I would rather. I think it would be safer if
I've been looking at these two more than
Are
the
you
guy who's been
complaining?
talking. I'm sorry, but these two have piqued my interest more than
Oh,
you.
wow.
Fucking god.
All right. So when do you